What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Pleeka podcast. I'm Jerome.
I'm Nick.
And today we're talking about Deadpool for episode 21 of the Pleeka podcast. Then sometime over the weekend, we'll have Deadpool 2 video coming out, which will be very exciting. I'm super excited to see that.
Yeah, me
Actually,
too.
more excited now than I was previously.
Me too.
After watching this.
Which is funny, because it's not like we haven't seen this.
Yeah, which is like, not to say I wasn't excited for it, but I was like, oh, I'm going to see it. It'll be cool.
I think part of the reason is, I thought about this, actually. When it came out the first time, it was in February and nothing else. Kind of like Black Panther. There's nothing else around. And we were like, oh, Deadpool.
Yeah.
And it was new, the first one.
Yeah.
And this time, it's in between Han Solo and Avengers. And not that I'm that excited for Han Solo, but I'm a little excited for Han Solo. But Avengers we were super excited for. And it's just like, it's hard to get excited for a movie every weekend.
Yeah.
You know? And then, and I was kind of afraid it might just be
especially
because
the promotional stuff, which I do like that they did this. They give you nothing to be excited for promotional stuff, really.
Yeah.
But I really liked it. They just, like, these are the characters, that's what we're doing. Which I really do like that. And I have seen, because there's an interview with Rob Liefeld, I think is his name. And he's like, yeah, and we may even do the same thing Infinity War did, where you're seeing stuff in the trailers not even really in the movie. Which I really like that they've been starting to do that now with movies. Because before, it was like, oh, we're just going to tell you everything about it.
Yeah, it's never a good sign when the funniest part's in the trailer.
Yeah. This is completely off topic, but did you see all the stuff for the Predator movie?
No.
I guess it's kind of connected a little bit. Because it's from the guy, I can't think of his name, the guy who directed Iron Man 3.
Oh,
Shane Black, I think.
I don't know.
He did the new Predator movie. And, like, the trailer came out, and it's got the other guy from Key and Peele, not the guy that did Get Out.
Oh, yeah.
And then everyone saw it online and was like, yeah, okay. That's fine, I guess.
Really?
Like, no one's excited for it. Because I watched the trailer. It didn't look that special. But, like, a lot of people are like, yeah, we're excited for his type of movies, and it looks nothing like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But, all right, so we're going to get into some trivia for Deadpool.
Spoiler alert.
So, when 20th Century Fox refused to pay the writers of the film, Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick, on set for input, Ryan Reynolds paid them out of pocket for them to be on set to overlook the entire film.
Wow.
Yeah. But I guess he went to school with them, too. I think he either went to high school or college with them. I think it was college. It's like he's been friends with these guys, too.
Mm.
But I thought that was kind of crazy and shows how dedicated Ryan Reynolds is to the movie.
Yeah, and I think it was worth it.
Totally, yeah. Because he wanted, like, in case they needed the writers to do something on set and stuff like that, he's like, I want them there, especially, like, for the scene to be able to give their input.
Yeah, no.
And then Fox was like, or not.
I bet they paid him this time.
Oh, yeah, they probably did. I think it's funny, too, like, last second, too, in the movie, Fox I think they took, like, $7,000 or a couple $1,000s away from them, like, last second, too. So they even got their budget cut while filming the movie as well.
Really?
Yeah, like, Fox really didn't want them to make this movie. And I bet they regret that now.
Yeah, no shit.
I saw it had a lower budget than any X-Men movie ever, any Avengers movie, like Captain America, Iron Man. Basically, any superhero movie ever, this had the lowest budget out of all of them.
Wow.
And then it's the best rated R movie of all time. Well, it made the most money. I don't know if it's considered the best. And then right here, it says Deadpool creator Rob Liefeld has opened about the fact that he took the name of the character from the final Dirty Harry movie, The Deadpool.
Oh,
Which
right.
I wrote that down specifically for you because I thought you'd really like that.
I do like that.
I
It's
remember.
an underrated Dirty Harry movie.
I actually don't think I've seen that.
Have you seen the one where there's a little remote control car chasing a car in the streets of San Francisco?
No.
Oh, that's the one.
Is that it?
Yeah. Jim Carrey's in it.
Oh, he is?
Like a young Jim Carrey, yeah.
Is he, like, not goofy at all either?
Yeah, he's pretty straight. I think he plays a rock star. And then, what's the guy from Taken? I think he's in it too.
Liam Neeson?
Yeah. Or I
Oh.
just made that entirely up.
You could tell me anything about the movie. I'll believe you because I haven't seen it. This one, there was going to be a running gag involving Wade and other bar patrons betting money on how Amy Winehouse would die. But this was cut because Amy Winehouse actually did die sometime after the script was being made. So the joke was irrelevant and they considered it insensitive.
Yeah, a little bit. I could see that. Wow.
Yeah.
She I didn't realize she died that soon. Like.
Yeah,
lately.
wasn't it like 2014, 2015 that she died?
I guess.
I
I mean, no one was surprised by it, but fuck.
yeah, well, especially because she had that song. You know, they tried to make her go to rehab, but you know what'd she say?
No. You're so stupid.
The opening credits of the movie was actually a placeholder, but Tim Miller found the parody titles funny enough that they put it in the actual movie. And I guess because they didn't use any real names, they didn't have to run it through people. They were just like, Yeah, sure. We'll just keep that.
So when we rewatch this, like it starts up, and I forget what the first thing is, and I was like, I love Deadpool.
Yeah.
He's by far my favorite.
Your relationship with Deadpool is so weird to me too, because it started out with me buying a video game,
And I was like, what
and you're like, why'd you buy this? And I was like, I don't know. I saw Ray play, and it looked really fun. It was like $30, and I was like, it's a superhero game. I'm sure I'll like it. And you're like, whatever. And then I played. I was like, it's really cool. I think you'll like it. And then you played, and you're like, what the? I didn't know superheroes could do this.
Yeah.
And then you fell in love with it. And what's funny to me though is like you're in one of the most rare like sections of a fan of Deadpool, because like some people are fans just because the new movie. Some people are fans from like others like comics of that. You're literally a fan because of the game, and then because of Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
So like you know nothing about him in the comics. You
Not a
just because
goddamn
it's
thing.
just such a weird little column to
It's
be in.
because I already liked Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
And I already liked Deadpool from the video game. And then he's like, oh, yeah, I want to be Deadpool. And I'm like, what? Oh, that's like the
And
most
I think I
awesome thing
tricked
ever.
you once too, because I was like, you like game. There's a movie, X-Men Origins Wolverine. Ryan Reynolds is in it. And he plays Deadpool, and you're like, oh, I'll watch it. That was how you watched it the first time.
What do you mean you tricked me once?
I guess I did trick you twice now.
Yeah. You stupid ass. I had to watch that fucking thing twice.
I didn't think about that. All right, so Deadpool, directed by Tim Miller. The budget was $58 million. The box office was $783.1 million.
Wow.
So I'm not sure, but I think they made their money back on that.
Just 10 times over.
So I know I say this a lot with every single movie we've watched, except for Thor: The Dark World.
Which is a good movie, by the way.
I really, really liked the intro to this movie. The slow-mo intro. I thought that was really cool.
Well, that's what I started to say before you called me crazy.
Hey, I just met you.
Shut the fuck up. So I start watching it, and where I do like Deadpool, and like, so the video game comes out, and I'm like, yeah, he's cool. He's this wise ass. It's funny. You know what I mean? And then I started collecting Deadpool stuff, and just thought he was funny. And then there was talk of a movie, and I didn't think it would ever happen.
Yeah.
Because most shit you want doesn't happen.
Yeah, especially when it's pieced so perfectly together. When it's like,
Yeah.
it's Deadpool, it's Ryan Reynolds, rated R, like.
Yeah, so I'm like, remember I had like shirts and shit before everybody, and like
Yeah.
I just really liked the character. And
I'm gonna cut you off again because you remind me. This goes into the you buying stuff.
Mhm.
You know your Deadpool wallet that you have.
Yeah.
Rob Liefeld, the guy who created Deadpool, he has the same exact wallet, but he was talking about how like he's like Deadpool transcends like most comic book people.
Yeah.
Like he'll go to a gas station, and he'll buy like fucking Slim Jim and some other shit. He'll pull out his Deadpool wallet, and the guy's like, "Oh, you like Deadpool?"
Yeah.
And I was like,
yeah,
I've been with you when that happens all the time.
Yeah. Well,
Like I think we went bowling with some girls like, "Oh, you like Deadpool?"
yeah.
That
Well, I've
so
done
weird.
that. I rang up a person at my work and been like, she had a Deadpool purse. I'm like, oh, I really like your purse. That's cool.
It's funny though, because like I feel like any other superhero that just probably, like if I had a Spider-Man wallet or a Flash wallet or something, people would be like, "Well, yeah, okay, he likes Flash."
Yeah. No, totally.
But Deadpool, because I feel like he's such a rare character to like. People are like, "Oh, you like Deadpool too? I love Deadpool."
But where I was going with that is I think that changed since the movie came out. Now I
Yeah.
feel like everybody likes him.
Yeah, and it's almost like some people, like hipsters, I guess you'd call them. It's cool for them to be like, "Yeah, I didn't really like the movie." Like
Really?
I feel like a lot of same with Guardians of the Galaxy. I feel like people like try to be cool and be like, "Yeah, those are okay."
Oh. Well,
But
all I
for
know.
for the most part, the majority of people love Deadpool.
Do you
I mean,
remember-
even your mom, my grandmother now is like, "I want to see Deadpool too."
yeah, that's
Like that would never happen like 5 years ago.
Yeah, she didn't want to go see Infinity War.
That's true.
So where I was going with that is, that, yeah. So the movie comes out, and like it was hard to find like a shirt or a wallet or a figure or anything.
Yeah, really only maybe Hot Topic sold it.
And not all the time.
Yeah.
And now you can literally go into any
No,
store.
no, Hot Topic is a Deadpool store.
Yeah.
Like this time of the year.
Oh no, yeah, for sure. And like, so that part like kind of takes away from it a little bit.
I can see that, yeah.
But I still like him, down to the roots. So like, so we start watching this movie, and I thought, I wonder if I'm still gonna like this because like, I've seen it now 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, I think me and you saw it in theater. Like, we saw it in theaters. We came home to the podcast and stuff. But I think the next day, you picked me up when I was watching Damon. And you're like, "Want to go see Deadpool again?"
Yeah.
And then we went that morning.
And then we watched it. I watched it one time when we bought it on Blu-ray, and that's it. Like we hadn't even redeemed the.
Yeah,
The
the
code.
little code to watch on your phone.
Yeah, so I do that, and instantly, as soon as it started, I was hooked. The fucking music, like the beginning, the whole thing.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh yeah, this is.
It was
awesome.
funny is I remember there being like some slow bit. Like I remember, like the second or third time watching it when you see him like when he's first Wade Wilson and he does stuff. I remember that being like, oh, okay, I gotta sit through this, but like whatever. And like it was funny in parts, but I don't know why this time watching it, I really liked it again.
And
Like those parts.
like yeah, and like the part where okay, so we're I forget the bad guy's name.
Francis, Ajax,
Yeah,
same
Francis. Yeah, which
thing. You know,
he quit Game of Thrones.
I could have looked it up. The whole time I'm writing my notes from the movie, I don't think I mentioned the girl villain because I didn't know her name, and I don't know if they ever mentioned her name.
Oh, that's funny.
So
I liked her though.
I did too. I did see when I was looking at trivia that like that stunt scene they did in the junkyard, like everything they did there.
Mm-hmm.
She was more afraid of the spiders that were there than her actually doing her stunts.
Wow.
I was like, oh, that kind of makes her sound like a little bit of a badass, but a pussy at the same time.
Yeah, no, totally. What the hell was I saying?
You talking about like in Deadpool and the villain?
Oh, the villain. So when he puts him in the fucking thing that causes him to be Deadpool.
When he turns him into Freddy Krueger?
Yeah. Like I felt bad for him there. Like it wasn't like
Yeah.
And then like when he's going, like he's walking and the people are talking, like I felt bad. Like it's a good movie on top of it being a good superhero movie.
Yeah, and according to Ryan Reynolds, he said they do that more in this one, where like it's Deadpool in its core, where he's funny and he's self-aware and all that. But he said at the same time, this is a family film where he's like building a kind of a Deadpool family.
Oh yeah.
So like that'll be, and he said it's also still a love story too with him and Vanessa.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we liked the intro, and then I really liked that.
Although I didn't like T.J. Miller this time.
I've never liked him in this.
He was not funny in this.
I think part of it is, and this could easily be me being stupid, but I'll have to see what you think about it. Their jokes about what Deadpool looks like, none of it really makes sense to me. Like, I get, like, the topographical map and stuff like that,
Yeah.
but, like, the avocado fucking an avocado and, like, a Shar-Pei biting him and all this stuff, like, to me, it's like, okay, it was, like, grade school jokes.
To be honest, the jokes that T.J. Miller told in the movie is what I was afraid the movie was gonna be like. Where it was funny the first time I saw, you're like, because
It's new and it's
Yeah,
Deadpool
but
and
the-
like
yeah.
you're seeing superheroes talk about like fucking and
yeah,
stuff.
but the third time you watch it, you're like, all right, that's just not funny. Yet when Ryan Reynolds like touches that lady's face with like a little hand, like I laugh. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's just, and now that I know T.J. Miller's fucking crazy.
Yeah, I'm really hoping when we see Deadpool 2, there is some kind of joke about him because they did do reshoots. I'm pretty sure some after that happened.
Like a bomb scare.
Like they're still like, or at the end they're just like, oh, TJ Miller can't be here, or whatever, he still can't be here. He's on a train, or he's the bomb. Some kind of joke like that. I'm hoping they could, because they could just have he's wearing a mask, so they can make him say whatever they want.
Yeah.
But I liked that the taxi drive scene leading into the leaked footage. I liked that it was literally the leaked footage that we got months before the movie came out.
Yeah, it was so weird.
That it's basically confirmed Ryan Reynolds leaked it too.
Yeah.
I remember he was on the Graham Norton show, and he talked about it, and the guy's like, did you have anything to do with it? He's like, what, me? No. He's like, but it's just there, and I'm like, hey, Mom, what does that button do? Stuff like that. Because it was, everybody made this movie. But
Do you remember how excited we
all,
were when we saw that?
Yeah. So remember, this movie, we're actually more connected to this than people might think. We lost being able to monetize our channel for a while because of Deadpool.
Yeah.
I don't know. We showed some kind of footage. We were just talking about it, and funny thing is, we weren't even talking about it. We were just playing random Deadpool footage in the background,
Yeah.
talking about the trailer and shit. And then we couldn't monetize our channel for like 9 months.
We were all excited because it was getting views. And
Yeah,
we're like,
it was funny. It got like 200 views. And we were like, holy shit!
overnight. We were
Yeah.
excited.
And then we were like, oh,
We're in trouble now.
now we're in trouble. That sucks balls. So then we started. Look, I don't know where we would have gone. We did like a Deadpool podcast. We did 2 episodes of it, and then we got in trouble. So we were like, I don't want to do any more. Then we might lose our channel.
Yeah.
So we got the whole taxi scene leading into the high-speed chase and all that with the leaked footage. And then Colossus sees Deadpool's incident on the news and takes Negasonic Teenage Warhead to the highway, and then we don't really see them for a while. What I find interesting about Negasonic Teenage Warhead is Fox didn't have the rights to her, so they gave Disney Ego the Living Planet so then they could have her.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's weird.
And I what's funny, like usually like cases like that, they're like, oh, we kind of fucked you and like switch stuff, but like both of those paid off well, I feel like.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool. So then after that, we go back. This is when like the rest of my notes here, it's gonna get real. If you've seen the movie, obviously it won't be confusing because we go back 2 years and now it's Wade So like it keeps coming back and
It's
forth.
ironic that the timelines are confusing in this day of Westworld.
I thought, you know what I thought about too, and I never connected.
It's not confusing to us,
Yeah.
but like it can be confusing when you talk about it.
I found this very funny, and I didn't catch this the first time. Remember when he wakes up later in the movie and he's talking about Taken and Liam Neeson and all that?
Mm-hmm.
He's like, yeah, you know, they made 3 of those movies. You start to wonder if he's just a bad parent. And he's talking about that, and I was like, oh, it's kind of funny because the plot of the movie leads to Vanessa being kidnapped. So I was like, oh, she's kind of taken, and Deadpool goes after her. So I was like, oh, this movie has a Taken thing in it, so I feel like that's a double on the joke, which I thought was pretty funny.
That's funny.
But we go back 2 years, and Wade is pooping at a guy's apartment, orders a pizza, and tells the pizza guy to stop stalking Megan.
Yeah.
That was such a weird but neat way to introduce Wade Wilson into the story.
And when he's Wade Wilson like there, it's like it's interesting. It's not like it's like, oh, I want him to be Deadpool. He's kind of
well,
cool
because he
there.
goes from being Deadpool to being Ryan Reynolds, basically.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, he's kind of him both times, but I really like that. And I like, too, he's like, I'll kill your fucking cat to the guy if he doesn't shut up. He's like, I don't have a cat. And he's like, well, whose cat litter did I shit in?
Yeah, that's the weirdest thing.
It's such a weird way,
Yeah.
but it's totally Ryan Reynolds. So he does that. He gives Megan the thing, and so then he goes to Sister Margaret's. We meet Weasel, a.k.a. T.J. Miller, probably the unfunniest person in this movie. And Vanessa's there as well.
Colossus wasn't really funny.
To me, I love Colossus in this movie.
But he wasn't funny.
He is because he's such a straight man.
Oh, all right.
To me. But him and Vanessa go back and forth on whose childhood was worse, which I found that even funnier this time, too.
Yeah.
Especially when he gets cancer, and she's like, well, I guess you win. Like, later on in the movie, because they kind of continue that going on.
Yeah, they were, like, built for each other, right?
Yeah. I was happy. I was worried she wasn't going to be in the sequel, and then her in the trailer, I was glad she's in it.
I was a little worried about watching their sex scene at the gym. I'm like...
That's always so...
Thank God I don't
like,
have an iPhone 8.
I'll be watching Westworld, and then all of a sudden some guy or some chick walks up next to me. It's always a really old lady, too, or old man. And they get next to me, and it's like, oh, there's a bunch of dicks on the screen.
Yeah.
And then you look over, and every time... I swear to God, people glance at my screen all the time like they want to watch what I'm watching.
Like, no one looked, but, like, you know, I'm walking, and I'm like, okay.
And then they look over, Ryan
like,
Reynolds is just getting pegged in the ass.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, my God. Hurry up. And it seemed like the longest sex scene. It's like, literally, they went through the fucking calendar.
Yeah, well, this is my next thing I hear. For the next year, on every holiday possible, they have sex, and on Christmas, Wade asks her to marry him by pulling a ring pop out of his butt.
Right before she was going to say, put it in my butt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Wade passes out right after that. They find out he has cancer, and then we're back to the highway. Deadpool fights Francis. Colossus shows up, throws Deadpool, and we get a joke about Wolverine origins, which I really like that. He throws him, and then, like, you see the little doll of Wolverine origins there.
Oh, yeah.
And then when he picks it up, it's his album of Wham, I think. We go back, and Wade is packing stuff so Vanessa doesn't have to see him go through cancer, which it's always, I kind of forget, like, a lot of times when we're watching the movie, when it goes to those moments, and, like, it's, like, a sad a little bit, sad story, because he's like, oh, I don't want you to go through cancer. Like, it's weird you don't think about that when you think of Deadpool.
Oh, yeah.
But to me, that shows how good of a movie it is, too. It's other stuff. So Wade goes to Sister Margaret's, and a man is waiting for him and offers him the opportunity to become a superhero. And then in the middle of the night, Wade leaves to meet the man at the bar. Then we go back to the highway again. Deadpool fights Colossus, breaks all of his limbs on him, and then cuts off his arm while escaping them.
That was probably the coolest thing.
I remember, I think it was either before the movie was made or like confirmed as being made, or right around the time it was, Ryan Reynolds tweeted out that scene, like the script of it.
Oh.
And I read it, and I was like, oh my, that just sounds fucking hilarious. And I showed Taylor, and she was like, oh, now I kind of hope this movie gets made. Like, I remember us reading that script, and I was like, oh, okay, and now I'm, like, stoked for it. And I think it was right around the time that it was coming out, or, like, about to be confirmed.
It's also crazy that in this movie, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that goes on from in the beginning story, but the half the movie takes place on the freeway. Like, that one
Yeah,
area.
that does, because, like, I remember we was talking about that earlier on, like, when after we did our podcast for the first movie.
Yeah.
Which that'd be really interesting to listen to, like, our thoughts right after watching it.
Yeah. Or not.
Every time I listen to our old podcast like that, I'm like, Jesus Christ.
I'm sure.
But we're like, wow, literally half the movie's in the trailer, kind of. But only because it shows like a bunch of different scenes from the highway.
Yeah.
And then it shows him, like, another, like, they show the whole movie in the trailer, but, like, you would never know that unless you watch the movie.
Right. Yeah. No. And like the end scene, they don't show any of that.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know?
They did a little bit the fight and like the later trailers, like him fighting
Yeah.
Ajax.
Yeah.
Which their sword fighting at the end, I really love that. I
Yeah,
thought
that was pretty cool.
I really like that's one of the things I look forward to seeing Star Wars, and that's what I've been disappointed in the past couple. Is I really like the lightsaber fights. I like sword fighting a lot. That thing I liked a lot in like Arrow season 3. I liked it. I'm not talking about me sword fighting a dude with my dick. God damn you. So then we
I
get to
didn't
see
say a word.
the smirk on your face said enough.
Mm.
So then we go and we see the
Like I love sword fighting. I'm like, all right, whatever.
we see the origins of Deadpool,
Not
and then I
judging.
liked when Ajax threatened to sew Wade's mouth shut, and Wade goes, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, there's a lot of shit like that.
Yeah.
I wonder how much. I'm sure there's shit out there that we didn't even catch.
Oh yeah, like I caught this is the first time I saw it when he's packing up his guns at Al's house. I think
Mm-hmm.
he's in the room. There's a little like Dorb figure of the dog Deadpool behind him,
Oh, really?
just sitting on there. There's like a bunch of random Deadpool figures all over her house.
No, that's funny.
I
It's
thought-
his house.
Isn't it? No, it's her house. It's her house. It's her house because he lives in that apartment with what's her face. Later on, I guess it's his house too. Doesn't really matter. So Deadpool headbutts the chick to get a match out of her mouth. It lands into him. And then after they close the tank, he lights it in there with his finger. Which if that was me, I'd be totally fucked. I'd break the fucking match in half or something.
Well,
doing that.
plus when you spit it into your hand, it would not have went in your hand.
Yeah, it took me an hour and a half to fucking try to pick it back
Yeah,
up.
Especially because his hand.
I'd have to use my toes or something. But so then he does that. It explodes the
disgusting.
tank. He fights Francis naked, which is like one of the
Yeah.
weirdest action scenes ever. But
I could've
maybe
gone without
maybe one of the best. You just get to see Ryan Reynolds' butthole and balls flopping around as
Yeah,
he's fighting a dude.
It could have been from the waist up.
I think that was Mom's favorite scene in the movie.
Absolutely. Burnt wiener.
Gross. So Deadpool wakes up in the ashes of the building, finds out that he's invincible, then shows up at Weasel's place, and they talk about his face for a while. And then he decides to make a mask and hide his identity from Francis because Weasel's like, you should keep making him think you're dead. That was one of the best devices Weasel had in the movie is to make him make that mask because that Deadpool montage we get is one of my favorite scenes in the movie.
Yeah, like how he starts out with the white.
Yeah, and it's all bloody and shit.
Yeah.
There's an extended version of that on the Blu-ray too.
Oh, really?
At one point, he's like laying in the room and he's like, "Oh, my stunt double's gonna kick your ass,"
Wow.
and like goes down to fight the guys. So yeah, we get that Deadpool montage. But like I said, one of my favorite. He's looking for Francis, and then he finds.
It was a little John Wickish. At some point.
Oh yeah,
You know, which was cool.
yeah.
Hopefully they get more like that in 2.
I think they will with this new director because I heard Ryan Reynolds talking about it. I can't think of his name. I'm gonna look it up. I heard Ryan Reynolds talking about him, and he said this guy liked to do a lot more like because in this movie the guy Tim Miller came from like he's doing the Batman games and shit like that.
Yeah.
Like all the cinematic scenes, like he does a lot of CGI stuff, which they looked amazing. But this guy liked to do a lot more real life fighting, and he's like, of course we use CGI in some things,
Yeah.
but he did a lot more like hand to hand combat.
Oh, really?
So that'll be interesting. I think it'll look a lot more like that. So let me see. What's the director's name in here? David Leitch.
Never heard of him.
Really? I'm sure he's done movies you've seen. Let me see. What movies has he done? He did Atomic Blonde. He's done John Wick.
Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why I thought that. I knew he was connected to John Wick somehow. Atomic Blonde, John Wick,
He directed
V
John
for
Wick?
Vendetta. There's 2 guys that directed John Wick. He was one of them.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
I think we knew that a long time ago.
I'm
but
pretty sure we
forgot.
did too, but yeah, that's why I wanted to look it up. But yeah, so I think it
In
will
fact,
look a lot more.
now that we're talking about it, I remember you going, yeah, they fired the director, or they're not going to get him for direct 2, but they're going to get the guy that did John Wick, and we're like, oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, and then now Tim Miller's doing a Terminator movie, so
That sucks.
yeah, I'm not looking forward to seeing that. So yeah, so Deadpool finds Agent Smith and makes him tell him where Francis is. He moves the camera aside. He's like, you don't want to see this, which I kind of wish we would have.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to see
Because
it.
it reminds me, there's a scene in Daredevil season 1 where he just the Kingpin just smashes a dude's head in a car like that, and that's when I was like, oh, this is what kind of show this is gonna be, and there's just blood and shit everywhere. So I wanted to see Deadpool do that. But then it fast forwards to when he cuts his hand off and falls back in the truck, which I really like that. He gets to the cabin, he's like, oh, well, you know where the story's going, and then
Yeah.
literally fast forwards the movie for you.
And stops to see him jerk off.
Yeah, he's like, oh, you weren't supposed to see
Which
that.
at one point, it shows him grab the unicorn and the lotion.
Yeah, later on
Yeah.
he walks back into the room and you're like, oh, I know what he's doing.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
You forget how to drink?
Oh, it went down the wrong tube.
That's what she said.
So then Deadpool goes to Blind Al's house to let his baby hand grow, and then his baby hand is so disgusting.
Did you hear what you just said?
I did. It's so gross. His little baby hand.
It was pretty gross.
Because it's like a burnt baby hand too.
Yeah.
He rubbed it on her face. And he talks about how his wiener just looks huge in it.
Yeah, or he thinks.
Yeah, I'm sure he's tried that though. So Francis goes to Sister Margaret's and they find the picture of Vanessa that Weasel took earlier. And then Weasel and Deadpool go to the strip club, and Stan Lee is there. And I can't show this scene
Because there's boobies.
there's a bunch of boobies. So
That's
just
okay. No one needs to see this.
just
shit.
take my word for it. I actually heard, which this makes Stan Lee sound a little bit of a creep to me, but he talked about it. He's like, yeah, we filmed the whole thing on like a soundstage. It wasn't even a real strip club. What the fuck? Like a Comic-Con. And I was like,
Wow.
okay, you 95-year-old man, like, chill out. He'd probably have a heart attack if he went to a real strip club. So Vanessa goes outside, is kidnapped by Francis. Deadpool and Weasel go back to Blind Owl's house, pack for guns to kill Francis. That's where we see the little Deadpool dog. And Deadpool shows up to the X mansion to ask them for help. They take the taxi to the downed helicarrier, which, did you notice that? It was a helicarrier. Like, you know what they did in Avengers 1 where they're in the half the movie? It was one of those.
I didn't realize it was that.
I love when he's at the X Mansion, and he's like, "Oh, it's weird. There's only ever 2 of you here. It's like the studio couldn't afford another X-Men."
Yeah.
And what makes it even funnier is that was improvised by Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah. I remember you saying that before. It's like, even though I knew he was gonna say it, it's still funny.
Yeah, I look forward to that part.
Yeah.
So then the end fight starts. I love that Deadpool actually spells out Francis out of all the dead bodies of the men, and I completely forgot that he meets the guy that he met inside when he was becoming Deadpool there, and he's like, "Oh, how are you? How's your wife? Is she still making that?" And like just talks to him, and then just knocks the guy out.
Yeah.
That was really funny, cause like that guy could have totally been a throwaway dude.
I didn't realize. I thought it was a guy that he from when before, because he talked about Jacksonville. It was a guy that like when he
When he talks about his other adventures.
Yeah.
No, it was the guy that was in that place with Francis and all that.
Oh.
That even when he's laying next to him, he's talking to the whole time.
I missed that. I thought it was an old guy he used to
Like
when
work
he's-
with or whatever.
Yeah, when he's in the army.
I almost wish, which like we don't.
Because they talked about Jacksonville TGI Fridays.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's the same dude. Like, it looked
Ah.
exactly like him. I could be wrong. Come on if I am. I don't really care. But I wish we could see, like, what his other stuff was, his other missions. Or, like,
Oh, yeah.
like, I think that'd be kind of neat, but at the same time, we don't really need it.
Yeah.
So then Negasonic launches Deadpool up on the top of the ship. Then him and Francis start fighting, which I really, really like that fight scene. And
Yeah,
then-
that was cool.
And then I really love, too, when Deadpool gets stabbed in the head and starts hallucinating the stuff onto
It was so weird,
Vanessa.
yeah.
And then he's, like, starts
They're
fingering himself and stuff.
Was it playing Chicago?
They were playing. I don't know.
I think it's Chicago. Yeah.
They were playing some love song. So Negasonic saves Colossus, but when doing so, she blows up the ship. Deadpool and Francis and Vanessa all get blown off the ship.
We talked about this before.
What?
Negasonic could have turned it down a notch.
Oh yeah,
She blew up the whole fucking
Yeah,
ship.
because she flew herself up and then landed back down. She didn't have to go that big,
Yeah, she was.
but it was cool.
It was cool.
She was one of the characters that you would never expect to really love her, but I
She
think
was
she was a
awesome.
standout. And apparently that's what Domino is in Deadpool too. Like
Oh, right.
everyone's like, oh, you're gonna love her. Like she's gonna be the standout of the movie. Which
I've
been
which is cool because if you consider we already like her and Deadpool.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
I've been watching Atlanta and I really like her in that.
Oh, really?
She's like Donald Glover's like love interest in it.
Mm-hmm.
So she blows them all off and then Deadpool ends up killing Francis, which I love that scene too when Colossus is like, there's 4 or 5 moments and he's like, you just kept going on and on.
You know what's funny is I remember when the first time we watched it, and I was like, is he just gonna shoot him? And then like you just didn't know. And then
You could part of you was like, oh, he better not just save him. Come on, it's Deadpool.
yeah, and then you're just like, well, maybe, and boom. No, that's what I thought.
That's one of the things about this movie is like you want to be like make it seem predictable because it's like most superhero movies are. You know they're gonna defeat the bad guy, and then you're like, oh, is he? No, he's not gonna save the guy, right? And like you have to question yourself because you want to predict it, but you can't. It's still funny when Vanessa takes the mask off of him and it's a picture of Hugh Jackman.
I forgot.
You really forgot about that?
Totally forgot.
That's funny.
Well, because they show it. Don't they show it from the back first?
Oh yeah.
So like I forgot when they showed it from the back, and I was like, oh yeah.
When we first saw that, I thought it was gonna be a picture of Ryan Reynolds on his face. Because he talks about Ryan Reynolds at Blind Owl's house.
Well, just like in the opening sequence, is the opening? They have a Ryan Reynolds Sexiest Man Alive magazine.
Oh yeah.
And then when he goes on his thing where he forgets his duffel bag, he throws a Wolverine one.
The Hugh Jackman one, yeah. So we have some end credit scenes. Deadpool copies Ferris Bueller's Day Off and mentions, what you guys think? Sam Jackson is going to show up here?
And then disappear.
And then he goes back, and then he shows up again and says, "Oh, but I can't tell you one thing. Cable's gonna be in the sequel." And just says they don't know who they're gonna cast, and he goes back away again, and then pops his head on and goes, "Chicka-chicka."
Yeah, which I laughed at that too.
That is also.
Except I pictured Charlie from
Oh,
It's Always Sunny.
that's funny. That is also one of my favorite parts of this movie too. That end credit scene,
Yeah, that was pretty good.
which supposedly the sequel's supposed to have the best end credit scene of any movie ever.
Really? Well, because this one wasn't like the best ever. It's just you didn't expect it to be a takeoff on Ferris Bueller.
Yeah, it's just so random.
Yeah.
So I'm really interested to see what that's gonna be. I'm assuming it's gonna set up X Force. Cause like I feel like they kind of have to, but you never know with Deadpool what they're gonna do.
Right.
So we're done with this. Do you think there's gonna be a Wolverine cameo
Yes.
in Deadpool 2?
I do.
I feel like there has to be for how much Hugh Jackman's involved. Like he keeps getting brought up, but that could be just a ploy, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
But I honestly thought he was gonna be in the first one.
I did too. So that makes me think he's maybe not. The only thing I feel like plays in it a little more too is in the beginning of Logan, there is a Deadpool like short, remember? And like he goes in the phone booth and the old man dies. It was right before Logan. Like he's at like the premiere of it kind of. Deadpool was.
Yeah,
It was like the first trailer we got for it.
Yeah.
So like they had that before Logan. So like I feel like if they were gonna do anything and they weren't gonna actually put a movie, maybe they would have a little short in the beginning or something. But I don't know. I feel like even if Wolverine doesn't show up, I feel like there has to be at least a Hugh Jackman cameo.
I'd be with that.
Yeah.
Even if it wasn't Wolverine.
And then should I bring up the spoiler / kind of theory of who the Invisible Man is in Deadpool 2?
Yeah, absolutely.
So in in Deadpool 2, in the poster and in the trailer, you can see there's like a floating parachute guy
Which
that
I
comes
haven't
out.
seen. You told me about it, but I haven't seen it.
Which makes me more interested in Rob Liefeld's thing. They were talking about the poster and how like, oh, Domino looks cool. He's like, I'm more interested in who that Invisible Man is in the corner. Like he specifically pointed that out to
really?
them. Yeah, but there's like in the poster,
Are you gonna pull the
you can
poster
see.
up?
Yeah, should I show it to you?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'll look it up right now. But there is an Invisible Man there, and the rumor is he's gonna be invisible most of the movie, and then when he's finally revealed, it's gonna be Brad Pitt. But
Is he gonna talk? Is it gonna?
I bet he'll talk. There's no way he doesn't, right?
But that's what I mean. So if it's not Brad Pitt, so is it gonna be someone else's voice? You think?
I don't know.
Because if Brad Pitt was in the movie, we'd know by now, right?
I mean, no one really knew for a while that Matt Damon was gonna be in the.
He's in it for a minute though.
Yeah, that's true. So here, I'm gonna turn the laptop to you, so you guys hold on a second.
Don't kill Deadpool.
Right there. Right there. It's right. If you guys want to look it up, I'll throw it on the screen so you guys see. But it's right next to a swan next to Deadpool. There's someone in there.
Yeah.
So that will have to be a twist.
Or it's just an orange ball of fire wearing a.
But yeah, I'm kind of excited to see who's that gonna be, and like I don't know. I am getting way more excited for the movie the more like stuff comes out about it and shit.
Yeah, I think it helped that we watched a really shitty movie 2 weeks ago. And
And then we watched.
this.
I think that's what really helped me like this movie. Honestly, is like we watched X-Men Origins, and I was like, you know, I should have just let us watch Rocky.
Yeah.
And then we saw this, and I was like, holy fuck! I forgot how great this movie was.
Yeah, no, it so like where would you rank it if you had to rank it against like all the other Marvel movies, where would you rank it?
So my number one Marvel movie was Avengers: Infinity War, because how is that not? So it was Avengers: Infinity War. I believe Spider-Man: Homecoming. I would put it right underneath Spider-Man: Homecoming. It's my number 3.
You put below Spider-Man: Homecoming?
Yeah.
I disown you.
It's in my top 3. Out of that's that's
disowned.
20 movies, and it's my 3.
Yeah, it should be 2. Maybe even 1, to be honest.
So is it your number 1 or your number 2? You're like, it's not my number 4.
Yeah, I got about 6.
Just throw everybody off.
Nah, it's almost like 1A because it's so different. But like,
Yeah.
it's what I like about it is it's funnier than all of them combined.
Yeah.
But it's got the action like Civil War and stuff. Like when
the action in it is pretty great.
when like he gets hit by Ajax and flies against something else, like he was squinting and like that hurt. You know what I mean?
Or like when he punches the Colossus and breaks his wrists and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we didn't really. What's your favorite scene of the
that
movie?
one where he fucking breaks,
He
his,
breaks
wrist,
his
and breaks
wrist?
his wrist, and then breaks his ankle, and then fucking jumps, and then cuts his arm off, and then jumps into the thing of trash. Yeah, that one.
That's funny. What did I say mine was earlier? When I read my notes.
I thought you said it was that one.
That one, okay. I think so too. Then, because that's what I was thinking, but I wasn't positive on that.
You said it was either that one or something else, but I don't
There's
know.
a couple. There's a couple ones that I really, really like in this.
So who's your favorite person? Not
And I can't.
Ryan
And I
Reynolds.
and I can't pick Deadpool.
Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds. My favorite person in it. I'm gonna go with Colossus, or maybe Negas.
I like Negasonic.
Is it? I'm gonna go with Negasonic actually.
Yeah, I like her way better than Colossus.
I actually really wish there was a pop figure of her.
Oh, I'd own it if there was one.
I'm surprised there isn't one of like him and shit. Which have you seen? You know how they have? I have one up here. I don't know if people can see it on camera or not. But like the scenes from movies, I think they only have Star Wars and now. They have one of Deadpool and Cable fighting.
Oh, really?
For Deadpool 2. I think they just announced it yesterday. It was on Funko's Twitter. I meant to send it to you, but I forgot.
Thanks a lot, Dick.
But I think that'll be pretty cool to have.
Yeah.
Like I guess you know the scene in the trailer too, where Cable's like flying out, like trying to grab the convoy truck that they're on.
Mm-hmm.
That's literally drawn right out of like one of Cable's first comics, like from Rob Liefeld who made him. Like they were a lot of things in this movie are like straight up from
the only
his
thing
comics.
I know about Cable is from that video game.
Which, if I remember correctly, I think the video game is very accurate.
Man, he was basically annoyed by Deadpool the whole game.
Yeah, and then there's a character which I really wish I knew his name.
It's usually helpful.
Yeah, I just can't forget. I can't forget it for the life of me. Can't remember for the life of me.
It's like 9/11.
But the Asian like sword fighting guy with like the purpley pink hair in the trailer, you know what I'm talking about?
Nope.
Well, now you're gonna make me look him up. You fucking dick. But
I don't know who it is.
I'll tell you about him while I look it up.
Okay.
He was on Nerdist.
Hopefully you're better at looking him up then.
Then I was the director.
Yeah.
I'm gonna probably cut some of that out. And he was on there. He was talking about his character, and I didn't know this either. He's a time traveler, which I don't know if they're doing this in the movie. It seemed like they were.
Or maybe he can go help the Avengers.
But he's time traveling, and he like sees Cable like attacking that kid. And, like he teams up with Cable sometimes, and time travels back. And like the way he was just talking about his character, and like how fun it was to sword fight, and like that guy is like a good sword fighter.
Mm-hmm.
It made me real excited for how his character, and, like his swords are like they have double blades on them, and he has 4 swords that he fights with. But it was
so more sword fighting for you. Is that why you like him?
Yeah, I guess. But I really liked, and then he talked about how Bill Skarsgård's character, like he has all the tattoos all over him. His name's Shatterstar. That's what it is. It's this guy. I'm pulling up his IMDb picture. Hold on for you. Oh, here's a picture from the movie. That guy in the trailer. Yeah.
He looks like the dude from Cow Chop, but with red hair.
Oh, kinda, yeah. But Bill Skarsgård, he has all these tattoos. He has like "Eat Shit and Die" tattooed on his chest, and he's just or on his throat.
Mm-hmm.
And talking about how weird it was, like going to set, like because they had to hide a bunch of things. So they would literally set up like, oh, they're gonna film over here, and then they'd go over here and really film. But they'd have to wear like big old trench coat things over them, so it'd be like 6 foot, really buff guys like him, Terry Crews, and Ryan Reynolds walking through like to go get over there, and just how strange it looked.
Oh yeah.
But he sounded like he had a blast making the movie.
That's good.
And like he said, he had to like get a technique to go down with for like because Ryan Reynolds and everybody else was so good at improving, and like he didn't want to ruin the take, so he would just stare at their foreheads and just try not to laugh.
Oh my god!
But like it made me like really interested in his character, like hearing him talk about
I don't know anything about any of these characters.
I don't really either. Like I know about Deadpool and Cable, and then that's really it. I know it is rumored that Juggernaut is the secret villain of the movie.
Oh, really?
Which would be funny if they get. Do you remember that? I think it's X-Men 2 he's in. The guy from Snatch is in it.
No. Which guy?
Should I look that up too?
Oh my god.
I'm just gonna look up the Juggernaut. That should be one of the first pictures. But he's in it, and like that's for sure. Like I'm the Juggernaut, bitch. Like it'll be interesting if they get
They won't get the same guy.
if they get him. I don't know. I'm pretty sure people liked him, but
I thought you were gonna talk about the fucking who was the guy that boxed Wolverine in the last one we just watched?
Oh, that's the Blob.
Oh, so that's getting the Blob.
Blob except with Juggernaut.
Yeah.
This
Yep.
Right here, that guy from Snatch. Remember him?
No. I mean, he's got a helmet on. How the fuck would I recognize him?
You're no fucking.
Is he a boxer?
Does that look better now?
Oh yeah.
God, you
Bullet Tooth Tony. Well, you didn't tell me.
I
looked
looked
up
up
his
two.
face.
It's fucking. I'm gonna put up the 2 pictures on here that I showed him, and you tell me if you recognized him, fucking prick. All right, is that the end of this podcast? I'm sweating. My lips sweat, my head sweat, my balls are sweating, my asshole sweating. What time is it? Westworld's on in 40 minutes.
Just wait. Because tomorrow night you gotta wear a vest when you do this.
I'm not. No, we're not getting into this. Thanks everybody for watching or listening to the Pleeka podcast. We'll be back next couple days with with Deadpool 2. And then after that, we're finally gonna watch Rocky. For anybody that's cared, none of you do, but
Cared?